Here we go. 3, 2, 1, play.
Hey guys, thought I might crash your little watch party.
I have a question that is the mother of all our questions as a fandom. When will you release the Snyder Cut?
There it is.
Yes.
There it is. It's a hard question. I don't know. What do you think, Henry?
I reckon you should show it.
We're doing it. So get ready.
All right, we got an emergency show, as a lot of you might know already. There is hot news. The Snyder Cut is real, and I'm joined by my good friend Alex 2.0, who, along with myself, are going to be eating some crow on this video podcast. Alex, are you there?
Yes, I am here, and I'm as shocked as you are. Shocking revelations going on this week.
Mind blowing, bro. Let me tell you.
Never thought this would happen, to be honest.
We've had how many months now of these crazy, maybe not so crazy, very vocal fans screaming Snyder Cut, Snyder Cut,
Well,
and
ever
it happened.
since the theatrical Justice League movie came out, it's been that way. So it's been a long road for them.
Yeah,
Crazy.
years. It took years, but this isn't not unprecedented for Warner Brothers. They of course did the Richard Donner cut a few years ago. So this kind of like is not shocking in that sense that they would do something like this. But it's shocking that the fans were so vocal that they caved in, because at least with the Richard Donner cut, there wasn't like that uprising of fans that made this happen. This is, that was fans within the Warner Brothers department. They looked at it and they heard the fans say, we would like to see what Donner was doing and what he would have released, even though the entire thing wasn't finished. Here, this was a completely different animal. There was about a 4-hour cut already done with more scenes and stuff that was supposed to be added. And here we have Zack Snyder, who has been maybe playing along and teasing for over the last couple of years about this, and he's finally put out also that it's happening. We got confirmation now. Warner Brothers confirmed the Snyder Cut not only is happening.
Confirmed. It's been a while since I said that.
Confirmed, and it's happening on HBO Max streaming. That's I think the most shocking part about this. Would you agree on that?
Yeah, I think so. Now everybody can see it.
But you have to get HBO Max.
Yeah, that's true. But like, what's going on in the world? People are at home. Now they got they can watch it if they don't want to go out to the movie theater.
That's something that more and more I think of these streaming technologies are going to be taken advantage of, because we're all kind of scared to go to the theaters and check out movies in a big group. I think because of that they're going to do more high content, high quality, big budget stuff for the streaming. So I mean, this is going to like maybe up the ante a little bit, and it maybe have a positive domino effect, and maybe not. I mean, we're not fans, you and I, of the Man of Steel and Batman v Superman movies.
Nope.
By said director Zack Snyder, but this could be good if it's done right.
I mean, you never know. I mean, I know if you heard already that they're not sure if it's gonna be the actual 4-hour complete film or it's gonna be split into like a miniseries type of thing, which I expected to happen, to be honest.
That's what I think it might happen. But I mean, how many minutes could they have? How many episodes could they possibly squeeze out of a 4-hour cut?
Like half an hour.
Well, if they split it half an hour, they could do maybe 8 episodes.
About
So I mean, that will kind of keep in line with what we're seeing a lot of like The Mandalorian, for example, is
Yeah.
a short season series, which would make sense. But then would they come back and do a season two?
Well, they would have to spend more money on another Justice League movie if they would.
Right. And that puts a whole lot of things into perspective because does this mean that we're going to get season one, season two, maybe season three? Are you going to bring back
Well,
Henry Cavill?
it's funny
Ben
you call it
Affleck?
season 1, season 2, season 3 because this was filmed as a movie, not a show.
Right.
So that's what feels gonna. It's gonna be weird seeing it as a miniseries because that's not what Snyder meant it to be
Right.
from the beginning.
Exactly.
So I feel like, I mean, in my opinion, whether it's good or bad, I prefer it if it's the 4 hour movie because that's what it
Mhm.
was meant to be. So like, it's fuck it, I mean, like it's put it on there, and as a movie, and
Yep.
I think the pacing will be weird if you get to a half an hour of the beginning and then all of a sudden there's credits and like you go to the next chapter. It's like it's kind of what? I mean, unless Snyder and his editors can find a way to make it seem flow fine as a miniseries.
Well, remember, a lot of these things are fixed in post production. That's
Right. There's
and
a lot of work to do.
but with CGI, it makes it a little bit easier. To do a lot of these things. And my big question is, and it's been kind of confirmed in a sense. Are you gonna bring back the players that were in this thing again? Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, and the rest of the cast. Obviously, you can get Jason Momoa and Gal Gadot to come back. I don't know about Ezra Miller. He's still in hot water for choking that chick. Uh,
He ran
so
he ran like a flash out of that situation because no one's talking about that right now.
that's
Yeah.
true. But didn't they move on from that movie? I mean, wasn't that announced?
It's still in development. It has a release date. They're still waiting. Everything's all cleared so they can go back into production of all these other movies. All these other DC movies that are supposed to come out in the next few years. Um, but yeah, I think I've read an article that they expect a lot of the actors to come back just to do ADR at least. Snyder never gets to do that in his original cut, so it would make sense to bring all those guys back at least just for that, or maybe like a little extra scene. Maybe Snyder wants to put, you know.
Well, they're spending, from what I understood, $20 million
Right.
in this thing, which it seems like a lot of money for just a few extra scenes. But it depends, I guess, the quality of the scenes. But I'm not worried about that so much. I'm worried about how different some of the actors are going to look. For example, Ben Affleck. He's not in the same shape he was when he did the original movie a few years ago.
Right.
Is he going to now have to get back into that kind of shape to be Batman again? Or, or even Bruce Wayne, he's going to look really different. And originally, when the original film came out, the reports were that they used about 80% of Snyder's footage and 20% of Joss Whedon's footage. And that's kind of been like the narrative.
Right.
If that's the truth, and what got cut wasn't that dramatic, it's gonna really feel kind of weird because you're gonna have three pretty much different looking Batman, Bruce Wayne,
Right. Yeah.
because of the different
That's why.
time periods.
That's why I feel like at least for Ben Affleck, his part in finishing the Snyder cut is just gonna be ADR.
That would make sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard like maybe Ray Fisher, probably Jason Momoa, like they're
Mhm.
gonna be back to do actual scenes. But I'm not sure. I mean, it's. I mean, we're gonna have to wait and see. I mean, they barely just announced this thing. Also for
Yeah.
to go back to the whole, is it gonna be a movie or a miniseries? I the more I think about it, I think it might go in the miniseries route because, like, think about this, like HBO Max knows people are just gonna, or sign up for the HBO Max account, watch the movie, and then when they're done with it, they're gonna cancel it. That's what's gonna
Yeah.
happen. So I think the smart thing for them as a business is have it as a miniseries, but show each chapter like each week, like they did the
Right.
Mandalorian. Yeah. So
Correct.
like,
Yeah.
they won't lose members after a day or two.
That I think they learned it from like Netflix because every time they do like Stranger Things,
Hmm.
their Netflix has the fan base that automatically will purchase Netflix just to see it, and then as soon as they see it, and binge it for a while, boom, they
You're gone.
lose that fan base and they're gone. And I think that's a smart thing to do. But again, if they do it like that, then that would imply they're going to do a series to keep the fans, there. So season two, season three. Now this does open the doors, like I said, for other things. Could this include perhaps maybe a spin-off for Cyborg? Maybe instead of doing the Flash with
Yeah.
Ezra
For
Miller,
for like for like for HBO Max strictly like that, like have the
right?
Snyderverse continue, but in HBO Max instead of theaters.
Right,
Hmm.
right. I mean, that would be a good way to continue it without having to have like Ben Affleck put himself through what he had to put himself to become, Batman.
Right. I
And
mean, because realistically, he can't come back because you really got a new Batman already. So it's like,
I mean, how weird is that going to be? We're going to have Ben Affleck on TV. We're going to have Robert Pattinson in the movie theaters playing, Batman. There's a possibility that we're going to see him on the CW also somehow.
right.
Whoever plays him, who knows? There's going to be like three different interpretations, maybe of the Joker also, maybe four at this point. I think they might be going a little bit too much with this. And we already have two Flashes. We had three, but one committed suicide. The guy who played him in the '90s. Even I don't want to spoil it too much, but if you've watched the show, he's gone.
Right.
And so how many interpretations of multiverses are we going to get bombarded with? I'm still old school. I like the idea of having one actor play that part for a long period of time. Like when we had Christopher Reeve as Superman in the
Right.
70s
Oh.
and 80s, that was Superman. We looked at that, person as the Man of Steel. Now it's like you have Tyler Hutchins or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
You have Henry Cavill, Brandon Ralph, Tom Welling. It's like
And
too too
whoever
many.
played him in Shazam.
Yeah, whoever the body double was in
Yeah.
Shazam, but it's a little too much when it comes to the live action. I think for a lot of these heroes, and it kind of cheapens the whole thing a little bit. Would you agree with that?
I agree to a certain extent. I mean, I do feel like yeah, I'm kind of like you, like oh, there should be just one actor for a few years, and then you want to change the actors, wait a few more years, then do your own story. But at the same time, it's like oh, what if you let's say we got three different Supermans. What if you don't like two of the three? You could just watch the other one. It's like pick and choose, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, one thing they could always say is like, well, it's on a different platform, so different universe.
Mhm.
You have the CW again, HBO Max. You know, you have theatrical cuts and movies, so they could always say, well, they're different universes. And the cool thing is, if they ever do want to do another multiverse type of angle, now they can really pull in all these different actors from different platforms and put them in maybe a movie or something like that. That is kind of neat. But again, I would like to see, for example, Shazam from the movie theater, from the theatrical version, maybe come out on the CW, on one of the episodes. I mean, look what got a lot of buzz when they did Flashpoint on TV.
Right. Yeah.
When Ezra Miller came out in
Yeah.
the two Flashes, right? So
Hmm.
just think about the buzz you would get if you have, again, like Henry Cavill come out as Superman. And instead of having Tyler or anybody else,
Hmm.
have that one person represent the character, and then whether we like him or not, build on that character. So we're, the people that didn't like him because of one interpretation, they can follow, maybe start liking the actor in the suit. Now it's like, well, pick the one you like, and we'll go with it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the cool thing to do. It
I
seems.
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it makes for at least interesting ideas. And I guess they are trying to like compete with the other big boy Marvel, who's doing
Yeah.
kind of similar things. So, I mean, I heard some fans comment on this, and you might get a chuckle. They're saying that Joss Whedon now looks like he was sent in to like destroy Warner Brothers as maybe a
Right.
spy for Marvel. What do you think?
That's just a ridiculous theory, I guess. Conspiracy theory, if you want to go there. I
I
mean, they
mean,
hired him. They hired him because he was the Avengers guy, and they thought, oh, we get that. He's done a team up movie, so let's get him to finish this movie. Yeah, that's what happened. You know,
I
it was
mean,
light. It was Avengers was super light and funny, so let's make and it made $1 billion. Like let's make it like that. You know, that was the mindset of WB at the time.
and look when end games kind of proved that you could start light and soft, but end games was like a really uh really hard hitting movie for a lot of fans, because
Right. Yeah.
of the way it ended the saga with Iron Man and all that
Right.
stuff. But
That's
um,
that's the 10 years and 22 movies build up. You know, I mean that's
yeah,
that's on the top.
yeah, Warner Brothers I think tried to jump a little too far ahead without building. That was the main issue earlier on. So I mean, this is a cool way for them to build on streaming. We got on here because we wanted to show our support to our friend Zodwriter.
So that's
Uh,
Zodwriter. You won, brother.
he won this round for sure, and it's funny because I poked a lot at him because
Yes,
for
we all
years
did.
we all did, but I had a little extra nudge in there because for years I was made fun of for being a fan of the Dark Knight trilogy by one Christopher Nolan,
Yes.
the Holy One.
But those movies are good though.
That's the thing. They're good because we love them, but movies
Yes.
are subjective to what you like,
Yes.
as some people like to say a lot in their podcasts. And but it's true. And we were made fun of by a lot of trolls out there for just liking Dark Knight and for liking Christopher Nolan's movies in general. He has Tenet coming out now,
Yes.
which the trailer just dropped and it was flipping amazing.
Yes.
And
Which I gotta say, if it's either WB or Nolan's like final word, I guess. Oh, it's WB's final word. But like having a movie released in July, the first movie to come out in theaters since everything's closed down. Like now, like if that movie comes out in July, like it's supposed to, it, that weekend it's gonna be nothing but tenant showings.
Mhm.
You don't have to worry about a full room full of people. You can go to some other room that's empty.
Correct, yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, and that's actually gonna help its box office, despite COVID-19.
I mean, Bloodshot, I think, is the number one movie in the country probably this year so far. And people
And
are wow,
the Invisible Man, I believe.
really? Oh man, that's some sad, sad stuff.
Yeah, those movies came out like a few weeks before everything closed down, so it's like,
Yeah,
of course.
yeah. Unfortunately, Bloodshot I think would have been a lot bigger if it wasn't for everything closing down right on
I mean, yeah. Also, I mean, like when that movie came out, people were already going crazy buying toilet paper and shit. So
it. I know a few that were hoarding toilet paper to this day. They have
yeah.
a room full.
Yeah, and like, and since if Tenet is one of the few movies that gets critically acclaimed this year, and they still have the Oscars, that's gonna be Nolan's Oscar.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah.
like, who knows? I mean, that's if they don't cancel the Oscars.
Well, that might happen. That wouldn't that be something if it gets canceled? Or I mean, that'd be crazy because no big
Yeah.
movies come on. I mean, Tenet really would be the biggest thing, unless you just judge from then on. Because there's really nothing else to judge. So we'll see how Tenet does if people go out and they support it and it's huge. I suspect that other companies are going to start putting, their big movies out there because again, you said the Oscars, that's a big event in Hollywood.
Yeah.
They're not going to want to lose that money from the revenue they bring in every year on that. And I really doubt Hollywood is going to, let something like a virus, that has already killed a lot of people, but I doubt they're going to let that stop them from making money at the end of the day.
Right,
It's
yeah.
all about that bread, and they have a lot of bills to cover. So, unfortunately, it's a numbers game, and if this movie does well, and I suspect, like you said, I think it's going to do, really, really well. And it's again Christopher Nolan, so it's going to be a mind bender. I think that might open the doors back to people going back and start watching movies in theaters. It's funny because the trailer just dropped for that for Tenet, and I had just posted a thing on my website
Hmm.
about NASA kind of discovering evidence of a possible parallel universe, possible.
Right. Yeah.
It works in reverse, which
Hmm.
is what kind of Tenet is about. I'm like, is Christopher Nolan really God, or is he like?
He's
I
got some
mean,
government connections or something.
yeah, dude, it's crazy. And funny enough, I posted on the page also the episode on Sliders where
Hmm.
they dealt about the same subject a couple of decades ago. I don't know, maybe Tracy Torme, who wrote that script, or was involved creating that show. Maybe he's the son of God. I don't know. But these
Yeah.
guys maybe know something we don't. But exciting time to be a fan right now, and we have some stuff to look forward to in these terrible times.
Hmm.
And we got to give props where props is due. Zodwriter, he wrote this thing out for years, and it literally his podcast became the Zodwriter releases Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. And when it does come out next year, I hope you I hope you love it as much as you loved Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman, the Ultimate Edition.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I hope
yeah,
it lives up to your own hype. I mean, yeah. And I say that with no sarcasm whatsoever.
no. Well, most of the audience are gonna like love it anyway, just
But
because they've been
but
bleeding for this
yeah, but
thing.
then again, when a movie gets hyped this much, it never lives. It rarely ever lives up. You know what I mean? And I'm like,
Yeah, but have you ever seen a movement that had this many people that were pushing for something like this to come out? I don't think. I mean, even the hype of Star Wars '99, or even for the
well, it's a
Force
totally different
Awakens,
monster. You know?
it's a different monster, but it's a different kind of hype. This is like there's a very, very like diehard Zack Snyder centric fan base
Right.
that loved Man of Steel, that loved Batman v Superman. They were like, no, 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 we want this, Snyder cut really bad, and they were very, very vocal. So I mean, this is like kind of the first time I've seen something like that happen.
Yeah.
So hats off to them because they made it happen. Now, would this mean? We start other hashtag movements, and we started other movements. Is
The
that going to happen?
the air cut of Suicide Squad. That's the next one that
Yeah.
people are lining up to do. But David Ayer, have you seen his tweets recently? He kind of has like a kind of he's given up. He seems like oh, he's kind of like, well, whatever, thank you, but like well, it's not gonna happen. Like whereas difference with Zack Snyder, he always was championing like, yes, thank you, like, yes, I want my movie to come out. I don't know. Maybe we might. Who knows? We might get a Josh Trank cut of Fantastic Four one of these days. You don't know.
Ooh,
I
man.
will. I would see that. I mean, just out of curiosity at this
Well,
point.
at this point, yeah, why not? I mean, if it exists, just do whatever finishing and post you need to do and just put it out. Why not? You know,
Or how about? I know you hate this movie, but the Lord Miller cut of Solo. I want to see that spoof movie. They're filming. Why not, man? I mean, the movie, you know, put it on Disney
yeah,
Plus. Do it. You know what? That would
I
that would fucking make bank.
I think it would interest a lot of folks. I really probably would skip it still because I really didn't like the initial cut. And I can only imagine if it's even goofier, and that's what they were saying. It's really like not. It didn't feel like Star Wars. It felt like a goofy comedy,
Hmm.
weird thing. That's why the replacement happened with Ron Howard, who's a good director. I mean, I don't want to shit on Ron Howard. He is a very good director.
But he came
Uh,
in to fix a movie. That's what.
yeah, and he had to fix a mess in the middle of production. Not only that, he hasn't really directed a hit movie in a long time that's
Uh,
been, a legit big budget movie. So there's that. Also, he probably was a little bit rusty when he did Solo. So I would like to see him like really be given the chance to do his own Star Wars spin-off movie that has him from the beginning all the way to the end, in full control of the thing with the writing, everything, and not be on like a character like Solo, you
Mhm.
know. But that's a different
Who knows?
top.
They might have him direct a episode in Mandalorian in the future.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Well, I mean, let's just again give it up to our friend Zodwriter.
Yep.
He
Pow
won.
pow.
Pow pow. He won this round, and next year he'll get to see his Snyder cut. And all the banners are flying over the Warner Brothers studios, begging for the release. And that billboard they put out on the Hollywood a couple, what was it, a few weeks ago, asking
Yeah.
for the release. It all worked. It
Yeah.
all worked. So kudos to the fans. Kudos to you, Zodwriter, for sticking it out. And let's see what happens now in the near future, in the next year, with the Snyder Cut.
Yeah. Kudos to Zack Snyder. I mean, he's gonna get to finish his vision,
And who
so to
knows,
speak.
he might expand on it, and maybe that's a different animal now, going into this very weird future we have with the lockdown.
Yes.
So, hey, streaming, that's the future. So let's see what happens. Uh, Thanks for being here on the podcast with me, Alex, and Eating Crow. And when
Yeah.
this thing is released,
Tastes good.
we're gonna actually probably have some real live crow, and we'll be eating with some hot sauce and watching on a streaming platform that we're gonna pay a whole lot of money
Just
for.
don't.
Just to,
Just Zodwriter, if he joins us next time we do something like this, don't bring Grandma's peach tea. That's all I ask.
please, keep that
For the love of God.
for the love of the maker,
Uh-huh.
don't do it. Don't.
Yeah. Don't.
All right. Before we go, I wanted to give you the chance to promote your upcoming events on the internet. I know you're also a very dedicated podcaster yourself, like our friend Zodwriter, and I know that you have a couple of things that you have been working on. You want to tell the audience about what you have coming up, Alex?
Yes, this weekend, me and my crew, we're called the Movie Busters here on YouTube, and my channel, Alex 2.0, that's where you check out all our shows. We're doing the Friday 13th movies since it's the 40th anniversary of the very first movie. This
Nice.
one, one we've been planning on doing for a while now, and we're gonna cover the first 8 films, which is the Paramount era, and then we'll cover the rest, which is the New Line era, at another time. And plus,
Wow.
also in the
Cool.
cards, we're gonna cover the Karate Kid films, plus Cobra Kai, which I just saw, and spoiler alert, I really enjoyed that show, and I could now understand finally, since I didn't grow up with the franchise, I can understand why people love it. I see it now, I understand it, and that's cool.
I told you. Once you watch the original movies and you watch Cobra Kai, it all makes sense.
Yes, And since we're talking about Snyder, DC, and the Snyder Cut, check out my DCE show, DCEU show that we did last year. We covered from the beginning with Man of Steel all the way to Shazam, and very interesting opposite opinions on that. I was the only one. Spoiler: I was the only one who didn't like the Snyder films in that show out of the 4 of us, but. It was a civil conversation. It's fun. It's the best show we've ever done so far, in my opinion.
That's cool. That's cool. You mentioned of Facebook you want to give out, just in case anybody wants to follow you on Facebook or Twitter?
Oh, you can follow me on Twitter. Search Alex 2.0, and that is in words. The words Alex 2.0.
Right. Don't put a little period, because that's going to send you to some porn star up in Nevada.
Yeah, I'm not a porn star, and I don't live in Nevada, so that ain't me.
So yeah, it's Alex 2.0, all spelled out on Twitter. Check his work out, and check out all the stuff that he has on the internet. Really cool having you on again, brother. And stay safe during the the lockdown. And I know you're up in an area that's a little bit heated, so.
Yes.
Stay clear. Are you wearing your mask, by the way?
Oh yeah, every day. It's mandatory, man.
Yeah. Just don't do what one Mr. Shmuley did and go for a Subway at 3 in the morning.
Oh no. I would never. I'd never fake a hate crime.
There you go. Good job.
But then again, I was stopped by the police recently, and that was 100% true. I didn't make that up. That is a true story.
I saw that, and that was kind of bizarre. And we're living those times, man. It's
I mean, it really was upsetting because I was practically accused of something I never do. So it's like
I know you're not a drinker. That's
No.
crazy.
Uh-huh.
That's one thing you and I share. We have a love for one thing and one drink only.
That's Baja Blast. If the police officer said your vehicle smells like Baja Blast, then I was like guilty as charged.
Yes.
But that wasn't the case.
You shall continue on your path if it's Baja Blast.
But
it's funny though. But at the end of the day, they're doing their job. So they're trying to do the best they can. One thing though that's always upsetting is when we think about it as racial profiling. That unfortunately it sounds like what happened to you, bro. So that's
in my case, I don't think it was racial profiling because they didn't. I don't have enough evidence to back that up, but it seemed more like I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time and decided to just fuck with somebody that was on the road.
Yeah, and you were swerving a little bit.
I don't think I was. I stick by that. He had had his bright lights behind me. I'm just saying.
That would make anybody swerve. I would.
Whose fault is that?
No, but you're a good man, and I know that your story was legit. So at least something bad happened, and you're still here. You didn't.
I'm still alive.
You didn't end up getting shot or anything, so you're good.
Yeah,
that would suck.
I had no choice.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine during the outbreak, you're the one guy that gets shot and doesn't die from coronavirus.
I mean, I would have become a martyr, though. That's what would happen.
Oh, yeah, that would have been true. We would have seen pictures of you on the news with a bow tie and a suit.
Right.
Smiling.
Yeah.
And everybody would be crying. And, So what good would it have done you?
But then there would be a huge audience saying like, "Oh, he deserves it. What was he doing at night?"
Yeah. Then there'll be a whole battle.
He was probably you would probably hear he was probably illegal anyway.
Yeah. And I think you were born here, right?
I was, yeah. So how can that even be possible? Actually, I'm an anchor, baby. Don't tell anyone.
Ooh, don't tell nobody.
That's actually not true either.
Yeah, even if you were, you're still a good guy, so don't worry about that. Thanks again for doing this and being here on the show.
All right, no problem.
Good luck with the podcasting and everything else, brother.
Okay, thank you.